Okay, estudiantes, today we are going to talk about por y para. So we're going to look at how do you know when to use each one and kind of review what these two words mean. So it says for number one here, use, we're going to use por to indicate, cause, or an even exchange. And then think of para as moving toward the word or destination that follows. So let's review por and the definitions. So por can be used in a couple ways in our sentences and based on what they mean. So por can mean for, through, in, because, by. And we have a couple of scenarios and rules of when we would use por. So number one, we'll kind of talk about the reason and then I'll give you an example for each. So uno, it says the cause of or reason for an action. So let's look at an example here. We have the phrase, por eso ella escribió el artículo. So por eso, that is a vocab word from our list for that reason or that's why she wrote the article. So when we see this word, this kind of phrase, we know that we're explaining a reason for or a cause of something. Number two would be means of transportation or communication. So an example here would be te llamo por teléfono. So I call you on the phone. So if you're talking about means of communication, like calling somebody on the phone, or transportation, like I go by car or by bus somewhere, then we would use por in our sentence. Tres, we have periods of time. So an example here, María fue a Santo Domingo por una semana. So she went to Santo Domingo for 1 week. So we're talking about the period of time of her vacation, for example. She went there for a week, so we're going to use for. And then movement. This is movement through a place. So anytime you're talking about going through a certain location or place, you're going to use por. So for example, los turistas pasan por la seguridad. So the tourists, they go through security. So let's say you're at the airport, you need to go through security. So therefore, we use por. Or if I said I was walking through the building or I walked through the park, then we're using por in all of those examples. Siete would be thank you for. So anytime you're thanking somebody for something, you're going to use por. So for example, gracias por el regalo. Thank you for the gift. Number six, in exchange for or in place of. So for example, we have estoy enferma. ¿Puedes trabajar por mí? So I'm sick. Can you work for me? So let's say you want somebody to kind of cover your shift at work. You want them to work for you. So that's kind of in exchange. You're sick. You can't go to work. You need somebody else to come work for you. So therefore, we use por. And the last one is duration of time. So I know we have kind of periods of time, duration of time. That's kind of the same thing here. So yo estudio por una hora. So I study for an hour. Okay, so this is all for four. So kind of just remember the main points. We're looking at time, means of communication or transportation, going through a place, or if you're in exchange of something like um, working for somebody or thanking somebody for a gift, or if something's a direct cause of or reason. Okay, so now let's look at para. So para can mean the following. We have for, in order to, by. Okay, so the first one, uno, we have goals to reach or purposes to fulfill. Dos would be movement toward a place. So this would be more of a final destination. So it is not an kind of a movement through a place like port, but it's a final destination that you're going towards. So kind of just think of that as you are kind of comparing the difference between port and para. Oh, so an example here would be salíamos para la escuela a las 7. So we left for school at 7. So we're going towards school. That's our place that we left home to go to, our final destination we're going to. And then I forgot an example for uno. Practicamos para el partido, for example. So we practice for the game. So we practice in order to win the game, for example. We could say para ganar el partido. So kind of think of that purpose, or I study Quizlet to get an A on the test, for example. Okay, tres. This would be the recipient of an object or action. So, for example, estas fotos son para Laura. So these photos are for Laura. Or if I said, el regalo es para mí. So the gift is for me. I am receiving that gift. Cuatro would be deadlines to meet. Think of this as a due date. So for example, we have escribe el artículo para el viernes. So write the article for Friday. So Friday is when the article is due. That's the due date. We need to write it for that day, para el viernes. Cinco, we have employment. So our example here, Sara trabaja para el periódico. So she works for the newspaper. Or let's say you say, yo trabajo para Target. I work for Target. Opinion. So for example, we have para mí es muy importante estudiar español. So for me, it's important to study Spanish. So this is my opinion, para mí, or you could say somebody else's opinion, para Maria, or para ti, for you, kind of stating your opinion. And then comparison, para tener 4 años, mi hija es alta. So for 4 years old, my daughter is tall. So I'm kind of comparing maybe her height to other heights of other kids, but that would be a comparison that we would use. So with para, remember this is kind of a goal moving toward a location, or something is for somebody, like a gift or receiving something, um, or also stating your opinion or where you work employment. Okay, so go ahead and once you're done with your notes, look at the practice activity on slide 52 and 53, has the answers, and kind of work on that to practice. And as always, if you have any questions, just let me know.